think I'm on. I think I am on. How you doing? Yes, I am on. Okay, so I am here on stage at the Glasgow Theatre Royal. That says, I love words, that's all. Whoa, lights are changing. And we've just done a show. We've just performed Cyrano de Bergerac in front of 1,500 Glaswegians, and we are getting ready to leave here in a few days and come to Brooklyn and start doing our version of Cyrano de Bergerac at the BAM Harvey Theatre in Brooklyn for a couple of months. So get your tickets. The link to tickets is in my bio. You can get tickets now. So I said I'd do 20 minutes of questions on Cyrano. I might do a couple of questions on other things too, but generally let's keep it to Cyrano because that's what I'm here promoting. This is a little bit of stage. This is one of the things that Cyrano says. He says, I love words, that's all. And during the show, Nima, who plays Lanier, paints that on the wall. Anyway, right, so hello from Easterhouse. How you doing, Louise Murray? Okay, anybody got any questions for me on Cyrano? Got to say, Split has been your best work so far. Hey, listen, come see Cyrano. You might revise that. Going on April the 10th. Oh, great. Can't wait to see you either. You can hear me, don't worry. Brilliant. What was the one interesting thing that got you into this project? All right, that's a very good question. Well, who asked that question? Mariana Ferro-Oliveira, I think. I don't know if I said that right or wrong. Probably wrong. Anyway, the interesting thing that got me into this project, well, Jamie Lloyd, the director, and I have been working together for, I think, the better part of 15 years. And we had decided that for our 5th or 6th collaboration, we were going to do a Shakespeare play. And we were going to do it a really cool way. And me and 2 other actors were going to play all the best parts in it and just swap every night and do something cool like that. About 5 other big theatre directors or producing houses said to Jamie, oh, we're doing that play. And Jamie went, well, what's the point? If there's going to be 5 productions of it in 5 minutes, then we should do something else. So he said to me, how do you feel about doing Cyrano de Bergerac? And having only ever seen one production of it, I've still got tape attached to my face, only ever seen one production of it, I said, yes, let's do it. So he went to Martin Crimp and he got an amazing version written. And that's why we ended up doing Cyrano de Bergerac, just because we needed to do something together. And I thought, well, that'll be a good part. You get to do all the things, because that's the thing as an actor on stage. I don't want to go on stage and just be truthful. I want to go on stage and do everything. I want to laugh, make them cry. I want to be shocking. I want to be physical. I want to be still. I want to be comedic. I want to be acrobatic. I want to be everything you can be on a stage. Don't want to just do what you usually anyway, have to do on film or TV. So that's the hopefully interesting story behind why I ended up doing this. Right, next question. Any more questions? I'm flicking up here. What has been the most challenging part about playing Cyrano? That's from Ruby Burke E. The most challenging part about playing Cyrano, to begin with, it was the fact that we're all microphoned. I've never been microphoned on stage before, and actually I've got a bit of a problem with people being microphoned on stage. It generally sort of negates the whole reason that I'm in the theatre, which is to experience the energy that the performers are sharing with the audience. And it doesn't matter to me if you can't get quiet and intimate, because I'm there for the energy, and that there's something about that projection which gives energy to the audience, you know. And when I've seen things microphoned before, it just feels like the energy dies, and yes, I can hear them whispering, but there's no energy flying at me. So Jamie's whole idea about this show was to make a Cyrano in which the words are truly the most important thing on stage. The Paris that Rostand writes and that Martin adapted definitely is not a realistic place. It's a place that regards words as almost like weapons and superpowers, you know. And so he thought to himself, I think if we're going to have words be the most important thing, then we need to amplify those words, and we need to enrich in those words, and we need to capture the tiniest of breaths and the largest of shouts in equal measure. And so he and Ben Ringham collaborated. Ben Ringham's an amazing sound designer who I've worked with for years as well, and he sort of has done a soundscape that is so different for Cyrano, that is so different to every other microphoned or amplified play I've ever seen. It's just a very different way of doing it, and I think it's how it should be done, frankly. But that was the most difficult thing for me, was getting my head around microphones. Anything else? What's the other most difficult thing? There's not many difficult things. It's a lot of effort. There's a lot of blood, sweat and tears, literally, sometimes. But it's not hard. It's the hardest thing in acting is when you've got a bad script and nobody knows what they're doing. We've got an amazing script. Everybody knows what they're doing, thanks to Jamie. And in that way, it's good hard. That sounds a bit dodgy, doesn't it? Right, well, who's next? What else we got? Do you enjoy doing Christiane's voice? Will the accents change in New York? This is a good question. This was my favourite part. I saw the play on Sunday after writing my dissertation on it. Such a perfect performance. Well, thank you very much, Lily Kearney. Will the accents change in New York? I don't think so. I do have a bit of a fear that my exotic alien accent will alienate some of our American cousins, because Scottish accents seem to do that sometimes to Americans, and other people, so not just Americans actually. It just seems to be it's not a noise that they hear very often on their TV or films. So I do have a slight fear about that, but no, Jamie made this production about us. He empowered all of the performers in this show to just be themselves, and it would be, I don't know, we'd lack some integrity, or we would sort of be perverting the process if we went over there and sort of dulled ourselves down, if that is even possible. Right. Do you get nervous on stage, Anna Dila? I mean, a little bit, sometimes, I guess. Not really. I got nervous the first performance of this. There's a bit where the curtain goes up and the whole cast, apart from me, are facing the audience, and they walk towards the audience, and I'm facing the other way, upstage, but I'm looking in a mirror, which is up there somewhere at the moment, and I can see the entire crowd. I can see the backs of our cast walking towards the crowd in the dark, and it was like just watching them walk off the war, and I got so emotional I cried, and I hadn't even opened my mouth to do any acting yet, so that was a interesting start, but I guess that was the closest I get to nerves. If I'm in something that I feel solid in and I feel like it's good, then no, I don't get nervous. Not really. I get excited. And when I get nervous, like properly nervous, I generally fall asleep. Isn't that weird? Right. Kind of weird question, but if you hear yourself over microphone, does it change your character? No. Do you know what it is? Because they've done such an amazing sound job, and Ben did an incredible job designing it. It's not like you hear yourself coming back amplified. It's just like you hear yourself like this, like you cover both your ears. It's like you're hearing yourself like that. So it's like you're hearing yourself in your own head, and that's kind of beautiful. That's kind of brilliant and weird. Would you consider taking a role as Hannibal? Hey, if the money was good and if the script was even better, maybe. What else? What do you expect to change when you move the show to Brooklyn, if anything? What do I expect to change? The size of the stage is 3 times as big as the one we were performing on in London. Luckily, the one in Glasgow is twice as big as the one we were performing in London, so it's kind of a bridge. By the way, I don't always drink champagne after the show. This is really, like, I look like such an actor, don't I? It was the gala opening night in Glasgow, and the cast all got invited to go for a drink and a toast. I didn't know that was happening until today, and I'd already organised to do this. So I quickly ran and got my glass, and then I'm back to do this. So in Brooklyn, the stage is 3 times as wide, so that means our staging might have to change a bit, but other than that, I don't expect too much to change. Reactions from the audience might change. You know, we just been doing it in London, where it got an incredible reaction. We've just been doing it in Glasgow, where it got an incredible different reaction. So I'm hoping it will still remain incredible, but just different. Favourite part of the show? Oh, Lisa Lives, I love you too. Favourite part of the show? That's a good question. It changes a lot. The first bit, the big old famous bit in Cyrano where he he gets ridiculed and abused a little bit by somebody without much wit and much intelligence, and he then demonstrates all the different ways that they could have made fun of his nose, and he does it with great flair and great verbal dexterity, and with this word that Rostand coined and created, panache. And that used to be my most feared bit and my most horrible bit, but it's actually become one of the most fun bits of the show for me. I love the end because it's funny and sad and tragic and hopeful all at once, which is sort of what I love about acting and storytelling and theatre, is when you get to do all things, you know, not just one thing, but you get to make them laugh and make them cry almost in the same beat, you know, and that's a lot of fun. I do love doing the bit where I do Eben's voice, who plays Christian, because it seems quite absurd, it seems quite silly, and yet it gets to a really sort of emotional and erotic place, which is quite fun to do. Who else? Right, saw the show in the West End and we'll see it again in Brooklyn. Oh, brilliant. Christina Florencia, thank you for coming twice. It's so lyrical and rhythmic. Do you listen to a certain playlist or music before performance? I do, actually. I listen to The Heat by Jungle. I listen to Busy Earning by Jungle. I listen to a little bit of Macklemore, Shadow particularly, and what else did I listen to? A little bit of Arctic Monkeys as well. So, yep, I do. I don't know, it's not even that I need to every night, it's just I feel like it's habit and routine, and it sort of puts me in the same frame of mind that I need to be in every single night. Any pre-show rituals? I haven't been able to work out for about 6 months because I've just been too busy and my life has gone crazy. So since been getting back into theatre, which gives you a very strict routine, it's been quite good. So instead of doing my vocal warm-up, I actually do like a physical body weight warm-up instead on stage with all the other actors. So that's kind of the only routine I've got. Or ritual, sorry. Thank you, Cymbeline S. Okay. The End, such good acting. Thank you very much, Lucy Zepeda. Whoa. Sorry, I think I might be nearly turned you off there. Were you relieved you didn't have to wear a prosthetic nose? I was a little bit surprised, if I'm being perfectly honest. Kotso 226. Because I thought, you know, this is a play about a guy with a nose. And I said that to Jamie, that very thing, and Jamie said to me, no, it's not. And I went, well, what is it? And he goes, that it's a play about a guy who's objectified and who hates himself. And I was like, if that's what it's about, then everybody can relate to that. If it's about a guy with a big nose, maybe not everybody can relate to that. If you're desperately beautiful, you can't relate to it. But if it's about a person who's been objectified and who's lonely and who hates himself, I think everybody can get that, you know, a little bit. Film or stage? When it's good, stage. When it's bad, film. Thank you, Bohemian Valerie. Love and good mornings from Malaysia. Thank you very much, Antinimi.Ann. Hey, Scott the Boom. Boom. Shake the room. Do you listen to Lana Del Rey? On occasion. Who's next? Hi, Patricia. Thanks very much. Hello, Professor X. Oh, really? What is your favourite line? What is my favourite line in the play? That's a good question, man. Or woman. Or neither, them. Alva Elassian. What is my favourite line in the play? I'll come back to that, and if I don't do it in this chat, I'll just do a little video and post it telling you what my favourite line in the play is. There's too many. There's so many.